I mean, this has been the most popular question on my YouTube channel recently, so here is exactly how many months I've been on the waitlist to get my Rolex Submariner. Now, ever since I uploaded the unboxing video of my Rolex Submariner, I've been asked this question so many times and so very frequently that I thought it would only be sensible for me to answer it in a video as opposed to replying to every single comment individually. And before I even go there, I just wanted to say to everybody who has left a comment asking this or any other question on my YouTube channel, thank you. I really do appreciate you getting involved with the conversation, because honestly, this YouTubing, the entire YouTubing thing would otherwise be a very boring hobby. So keep your comments and questions coming in, and as always, I will try and answer as many as I can. So coming back to the question, how long have I been on the waitlist to get my Rolex Submariner? Well, I've been on the waitlist since August 2019, and to tell you the full story, it all started after I just bought my Tudor Black Bay Bronze back in May 2019. The Tudor was my first ever automatic watch, and I'd instantly and absolutely fallen in love with the idea of automatic watches and had decided to slowly build a sort of collection of automatic watches. Now, at the time, the feature that I was most excited about was the fact that I would never have to change the batteries on my automatic watches. Silly, I know, but that's how new and naive I was to owning automatic watches back then. I mean, obviously, once I'd spent a little bit of time with my Black Bay Bronze, I'd quickly realized just how much detail goes into these beautiful machines. Details such as the case size, the lug to lug, the lug width, the waterproofing, the power reserve. And before I knew it, I was obsessing over even the tiniest details, such as what color is the lume, what sort of or how many number of clicks does the bezel have, and does it have crown guards or not. So yeah, a couple of months after I bought the Black Bay Bronze, I set this up as a sort of silly challenge or target, to earn enough money to be able to afford a Rolex someday. And as soon as I'd done that, I started researching about this watch, what the buying process was like, and I quickly realized that it's probably way easier to make the money to be able to afford these watches than it is to actually be able to buy one even if you have the money. So basically, in anticipation, I put my name down even when I did not have the money, and honestly, I literally absolutely just forgot about it, because everybody I spoke to back then told me that no authorized dealer would offer me a Rolex Submariner as my first Rolex, and everybody also told me that I might have to buy something else from them before, sort of build a purchase history. Now, it could be other Rolexes or other products they might have on offer. And to be honest, this did initially disappoint me quite a lot and almost put me off from wanting to buy a Rolex in the first place. But for some reason, I always felt and believed that the Rolex Submariner will be my first Rolex, and I will get it at retail price from an authorized dealer with no purchase history. So call me stupid, or I don't know what it was, but I just honestly believed this was the watch I was gonna buy from an AD as my first Rolex. And believe it or not, that's exactly what happened. So sometime around the end of Feb 2021, which is roughly about 18 months later, if I'm counting correctly, roughly about a year and a half later, I finally received a call from Preston's in Guildford telling me that my Submariner no date was ready for collection and that I would need to make the full payment if I was still interested in buying this watch. So obviously 20 minutes later, I had paid the full £6,450, which was the retail price of this watch back in Feb 2021. And I also remember very clearly that I could not sleep well that night, just in utter disbelief that this was actually happening. A guy who has no Rolex purchase history, who has never bought anything from Preston's before, and I just could not believe that somebody had offered me a Rolex Submariner at retail with no Rolex purchase history whatsoever. So anyway, as promised, Preston's did get back to me. I think it was the very next day, telling me that my Submariner had arrived at the local branch, which was the Guildford branch. And back in Feb 2021, UK was in a lockdown situation and retail stores weren't allowed to open at this stage. So Preston's told me that they were offering a click and collect service or a contactless collection service, which means I could just walk up to their shop and somebody would hand me over a Rolex box with the watch inside of it. Honestly, as excited as I was to get my hands on my first ever Rolex before anybody changed their mind, I thought to myself, look, At this stage, I'm not sure if I'm going to be in a position to buy multiple Rolexes in my life. A, these are not cheap watches, and B, even if you do have the money, it's not easy to get your hands on one of these. And to be honest, even if I end up buying multiple Rolexes in future, I would never ever buy my first Rolex again. So I went back to Preston's, told them that if you could hold on to the watch for me, keep it in the safe or something, and I would like to collect it once the shops are allowed to open. And I would love to sort of experience buying a Rolex in a boutique environment, to which Preston's kindly agreed to sort of hold on to my watch for over a month. And I went and collected the watch in person sometime around April 2021. And if you haven't seen the collection video or the unboxing video, I will leave a link in the description below as well, but you can also click on this top right corner to go and check out that collection day experience. So to sum it all up, I basically was able to buy a Rolex Submariner with no purchase history at retail from an authorized dealer in about a year and a half's time. So it is doable, it is possible if you really set your mind to it, and if you really believe that's going to happen to you. I know Rolex waitlists are a sort of very notorious area, and I've personally heard sort of horror stories of people having been on waitlists for years and years and years, had nothing back from their AD. But I'd say don't let those stories disappoint you or turn you off from wanting to buy a Rolex. It is possible. I have done it, and I might even do a sort of tips and tricks video to let you know how you can increase your chances of getting a Rolex Steel Sports watch at retail, even if you have no purchase history. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for plenty more videos to come. And if you do have any more questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Even if I can't reply to each and every single one of them, I might be able to answer all of your questions in a future video, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.